The church was full that Sunday morning when Pastor Emmanuel dropped the microphone, raised his trembling hands, and said, "Forgive me, for I have sinned against this altar more than any of you will ever know." For a moment, silence swallowed the entire congregation. The choir froze mid-hymn, ushers stopped fanning the elders, even the crying babies went quiet. Nobody moved, nobody breathed. Then he continued, his voice breaking like glass, "I am not the man you think I am. For 10 years I have lived a lie. And today, the truth must sit on this pulpit, even if it kills me." I was seated in the 3rd row, my Bible open but forgotten on my lap. I knew him not just as my pastor, but as a man my family trusted with secrets, blessings, and even curses. And as he spoke, my chest tightened, because I had a feeling the confession wasn't just about him. It was about me. The microphone squealed as Pastor Emmanuel gripped it tighter. His white cassock clung to him with sweat, though the fans were spinning. "Church," he said, his voice trembling, "there is blood on this altar." The congregation gasped. The elders shifted uncomfortably. The ushers exchanged glances but kept silent. "I have lied to you," he continued. "For 10 years, I told you demons were being cast out here, but it was not demons. It was people." Murmurs rippled across the pews. Someone shouted, "Blasphemy," but the pastor's words only grew louder. "I watched men and women dragged into this sanctuary for what you thought was deliverance. You prayed with me. You fasted with me. But while you shouted fire, something else was happening behind these walls." He raised a trembling finger toward the wooden pulpit. The same pulpit we all knelt before every Sunday. "Underneath this altar, there are bones." The crowd erupted. Some fainted. Others cried out in tongues. My heart thundered in my chest. Bones? How could that be possible? But he wasn't finished. 10 years ago, he said, voice breaking, a man was brought here. They called him possessed. I was told to keep the church busy with prayer while they handled him at the back. I obeyed. When they returned, they said the demon had been destroyed. And I believed them until I saw his face again. In my dreams. In my nightmares. He dropped to his knees, tears streaming. That man, he wasn't possessed. He was silenced. And I know who did it. At that moment, every eye turned to the elders seated in the front row. Their faces were stone, cold and unreadable, and I realized something that chilled me to the bone. The man he was talking about was my father. The church was chaos, people crying, some running toward the doors, others falling to their knees in prayer. But the elders never moved. They sat in the front pew, unmoving, their agbadas crisp, their faces carved from stone. Pastor Emmanuel was still on his knees. The blood cries out from under this altar, he said, his voice hoarse. The bones are there. I saw them. And if you dig tonight, you will see them too. Enough, boomed Elder Okafor, his deep voice cutting through the panic. His silver cane struck the tiled floor, echoing like a gunshot. The pastor has lost his mind. He is not well, but I saw something in his eyes. Fear. The congregation hesitated, torn between faith and doubt. Then, one by one, people began to whisper, "Let us see the ground. Let us dig." The elders exchanged sharp glances. Elder Okafor rose slowly, lifting his cane. "No one will touch this altar," he warned. "Anyone who tries will face the wrath of heaven." But it wasn't heaven he was protecting. It was the secret buried beneath our feet. Before anyone could act, the church doors swung open. Police officers marched in, their boots heavy against the tiles. Relief swept over me until I noticed the way they greeted the elders with respect, almost reverence. Elder Okafor pointed at the trembling pastor. "Arrest him. He has slandered the house of God." The officers obeyed instantly. 2 of them grabbed Pastor Emmanuel by the arms, dragging him across the floor. His Bible fell open, pages tearing. No, he screamed. They killed your fathers. They killed your brothers. The truth is under this altar. His eyes locked with mine as he was hauled away. Find it, before they find you. My blood froze. The congregation was confused, some shouting at the police, others praying. But the elders remained calm, their faces dark as night, and then Elder Okafor turned his gaze on me. His eyes lingered longer than necessary, as though he recognized something in me. His lips curled into a thin smile. Bring him too, he said. The policeman looked at me. My heart pounded. My father's face flashed in my mind, the same man Pastor Emmanuel claimed had been silenced years ago. I tried to speak, but the words died in my throat. That was when the realization struck me like thunder. The elders knew who I was. They knew whose son I was. And they would never let me leave that church alive. I stumbled backward, shaking my head. I didn't do anything bring him. Okafor thundered, his voice booming like thunder. The policeman grabbed me. My Bible slipped from my hands, falling open on the floor. The page stared back at me, for nothing is hidden that will not be revealed, nor anything secret that will not be known. My chest tightened. It felt like a message. As they dragged me forward, the pastor locked eyes with me from the doorway. Dig! He shouted, his voice hoarse but defiant. No matter what they do to you, Digge. The elders rose one by one, their agbadas flowing like shadows. They formed a wall in front of the pulpit, their faces calm, their silence louder than the screams around them. I realized then this wasn't a church. It was a tomb built on secrets. Elder Okafor leaned close as I was forced to my knees before him. His breath smelled of kola nut, his words sharp as blades. Your father thought he could defy us, he whispered. Now his son will learn what it means to carry his blood. My vision blurred. The congregation was shouting, women wailing, children crying. But none of it mattered. Because at that moment, as the cold marble floor touched my skin, I understood the truth. My father hadn't just been silenced. I was about to take his place. And behind me, the pulpit stood still, its wood darkened by years of prayers and the blood of men who never got to confess. The church doors slammed shut, and I knew whatever lay beneath that altar, I would never see daylight again to tell it.